Thanks for logging on for this week's edition of the Preview Show, delivered by FedEx Racing. I'm Mark Fine. This week, Marty Snyder on assignment, and I'll tell you what, if Marty can't be here, one of my favorite guys in all of racing, Ralph Shaheen, joining me this week. Ralph, good to see you, man.
You too, Mark. Glad to be with you. Too bad Marty can't be here, but I'm happy to get to work if he's unavailable.
All right, well, let's get to it. Let's talk about Bristol. Hey, this is one of my favorites. To me, when we hit this race, I know we're really off and running with the season. Tell us what fans can expect when we get to this track.
Well, Mark, think of this. 5 of the last 6 races that have taken place at Bristol, the margin of victory at the end, less than 1 second. That's why people love the racing at Bristol. The only people that don't like racing at Bristol are the guys that work in the body shops, because these cars are not coming home without a lot of torn up body work on it. The paint won't be the same. No body panel will be straight. All the drivers will be angry. All the fans will be thrilled. That's what Bristol is all about. High banked, half mile, very fast. This is a key race for a lot of people because this lets you know now for the first true short track of the year what you're going to have for your short track program. The other thing that will happen here is that each driver will now have another driver in the field he will really, really dislike for the rest of the year.
Outstanding. Well, you've got me jacked up and ready to go. Hey, Kyle Busch has had a lot of success at this track. Let's hear what he had to say about the art of driving in this bull ring.
We grew up with the bull rings and stuff like that. Maybe not as banked as Bristol was, but you kind of get a great feel for racing in a bowl. You go down a straightaway and you slam it into the corners and you mash the gas and you just kind of sling right back out of the corner. So it's a lot of fun to do that, and you know, it's kind of an art. And some guys are really good at it, and some find a knack that make them really good at it.
All right, so there's Kyle Busch's take. Back to you now, Ralph. And I got to ask you this. A new point system this year, and you talked about it already, the fact that we can see some wrecks and guys are going to get a little upset with each other. Could that change the way guys approach this race this year?
You know, I spoke with crew chief Kevin Bono Mannion, who is the lead wrench on Jamie McMurray's machine, about that. And I said, you know, now with this new points, will you have to rethink how you approach Bristol? And he said, no, not really. This current point system really impacts the win category and gives the winner a lot of edge. But Bono said, I really wouldn't do much different. He said, in fact, if anything, it's probably going to force you to race a little bit harder, because if you're not winning, you're not scoring the big points. So you've got to run hard. So to think that maybe somebody's going to come into Bristol and go, maybe we should just get a little easy, get out of here unscathed, and try to maximize our points, probably not going to benefit you, because if you're not winning, you need to be winning. So guys need to get those wins, so they're going to have to go hard and give it all they got.
Yeah, very interesting. I think different than what a lot of people might have expected from the change in the points. All right, that said, now what are the keys for the drivers? If they're going to have success at Bristol, what do they have to do right?
Well, we know you're not going to keep the car 100% clean, but you got to try to be as clean as possible, which really means, you know, we talk about the big one when we go super speedway racing. Well, there's a mini big one, if you will,
right,
when we go to Bristol, because it clogs up so fast. So you have to try to avoid that. You're going to get some damage, but try to be as minimal as you can with it. And then, of course, you got to get your best lucky rabbit's foot in the car with you, because you're going to need a lot of luck to avoid those incidents that are going to take place on the track. You know they're going to happen. Just try to be as lucky as you can to be in front of it or get through it as cleanly as possible.
All right, you and I have to make some picks on this now. We're going to need to get a little lucky, I guess, as well. And I have not been lucky this year. I am struggling, Ralph. I'm going to go with the defending champ, because I got to figure this guy sooner or later is going to get some wins under his belt. I'm going with Jimmie Johnson. Who do you like?
Well, Jimmie Johnson's a great pick, of course, having won there a year ago. But I'm going to go with the guy that clean swept the place a year ago, Kyle Busch. Remember, back in August, he won the Cup race, the Nationwide race, and the Truck race. So I think Kyle Busch, I don't know if he was clean sweeping again this year, but he's going to be a guy to beat.
Yeah, he was another guy I was thinking about. We're on the same page. Ralph, enjoyed having you, man. Thanks as always.
All right, good seeing you again, Mark.
All right, and thank you for logging on for this week's edition of the Preview Show, delivered by FedEx Racing. We will see you again next week.